Avtovaz, Togliari.
Smart 24, driving business.
A very good morning and welcome to Smart Means Business once again on today's edition. It's exactly 30 minutes past 7 and very delighted for you once again to be a part of today on a Friday. That is the 6th of December 2024, and I suggest it's quite a huge of course, we anticipate that quite a number of schools are going to be closing up today, and well, activities are definitely going to be undertaken from that perspective. Huge installed within the local operator. According to, there is an analysis here Manchester United and Arsenal. Now, the English Premier League might be played miles away, but for many Ugandan fans, of a decent teams literally become a matter of life and death. Now, of course, if I take a look at a bicycle, a mobile phone, clothes, and 90,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, of course, we are getting back in time, and also considering the previous games taking place now on September 3rd, a 22-year Manchester United, and well, there is a lot of cases. So, football, what is it doing to Ugandans for that line? Well, let us see. Really, it calls for control for the emotions, because you need to understand that these people don't even know you, the people that you of the staunch football fans. But when I realized that, why should I be on pressure for somebody that doesn't in my existence, then I realized that I was doing a very big mistake for that. So I think it will be the same. You try to get something that you can actually give attention to, and of course you love the football, but it shouldn't get that hype. To this extent, there is a huge analysis, and this is just what has been reported. But now, if we are to take it back for so many years, for the last 30 years in Uganda, when people have been supporting football, there has been a lot of impact, most especially in the social, psychological aspects and how people relate with the society, simply because of the insecurities of a football team. You can imagine that. Well, now, in other stories, government now to feed school children. Now, the Ministry of Education and Sports has actually announced plans to begin feeding learners in all government schools, especially that is primary schools across the country. Now, the decision marks a significant shift in the national education policy. And that is what we're seeing there. And of course, into some other headlines, well, into the scoop side, what a horrible year for the music industry. A lot has been, of course, highlighted down regarding what will be transpired. Now, of course, in two other stories, as we take a look at the national news, the IGP asks officers to roll out a sub-county policing model. Now, the IGP implored the prompted senior officers, to ensure their subordinates and superiors are focused on achieving the mission of protecting other Ugandans. So let us see how these meetups result, the impact of these particular ones. And our government makes U-turn to feed pupils in schools, as the government's long-standing position has actually been that parents should shoulder the responsibility of feeding their children. Now, it's very interesting when I take a look here at the lizard, and somebody here say that what an election coming. It is easy, and what is really transpiring is government now to feed children, school children. Very, very, very interesting. And as we proceed still into other stories, of course, there is a special report in the name of chairing English Premier League games. Now, following the shooting to date of English football club Arsenal fan, that is on Wednesday night, we look back at the various deaths that have actually occurred as a result of disappointment or disagreement over match results. So you can actually see a lot, and in the financial year 2021-2022, the government collected about 10 billion Ugandan shillings, that is as a revenue from gambling. Now, still in the financial year 2022-2023, government collected 151 billion, 0.9 Ugandan shillings just from gambling. So you can really see how the huge amounts of revenues that are collected, but vis-a-vis within those revenues, what really transpires after these games get done? How do the people react to the whole situation? That is, it has been a huge disease for the country. Now, regarding the marriage bill, according to the Anglicans, they say go slow. The officials from the Church of Uganda say that some of the sections contradict the values and beliefs of Christian faith. So that is something to also ponder into. And Katanga Murder trial adjourned, that is to next year. And the EC seeks church hand in safeguarding, that is the 2026 elections. Let us see how those negotiations will go about. And still into a special report, doctors to refund 1.5 billion, that is for working for 3 months in a year. You can imagine that. Now, the absenteeism of health workers was actually blamed on the poor monitoring system. Now, this has actually largely impacted service delivery and burdening the committed staff. Those that are committed to actually serving seem to be burdened as a result of those that are absent, and they are to refund 1.5 billion. And of course, into the business side, why Stanchart has actually shifted gears in African, Middle Eastern markets. Now, of course, the plan in which Standard Chartered is actually selling and exiting some businesses and markets started 9 years ago, but only arrived in Uganda that was last week. Well, this is quite a huge discussion there. And now police seal off the Nakaima Shrine after the death of 5 pilgrims. Now security personnel have actually been deployed at the site, now which has actually existed for more than 400 years, 400 good years. That is what has been happening. And now from the foreign news side, we'll take a look at what Ghana poll means to us. Ghana has actually built a reputation for peaceful and orderly transfer of power. That is from one administration to another. And what does that really mean? Yes, what does that really mean for us as Ugandans? Now, here we see how the French government fell in no confidence election. Now, French lawmakers passed the no confidence vote against the government. That is on Wednesday, throwing the European Union's second biggest economy power deeper into a crisis that actually threatens its capacity to legislate and tame a massive budget deficit. Yeah, the French government for that line. And of course, from the comment side, do more to incentivize the teaching profession. There is more like incentives for the teachers. A missed opportunity for Uganda and beyond in university academic research. That has also been really highlighted there. So let's proceed. And of course, for the movie fans, if you're a huge fan of the movies, In the scoop side, we take a look at the streaming section, and the movie of the day today is Subservience. It's a very interesting one, actually. Directors Cordell, it casts Megan Fox, Michelle Marone, there is Madeline Zima, Dorothea Toleva, there is Atanas, Sarah Brave, so many more. So Subservience for the movie fans, try to check it out over this weekend. Okay, now proceeding along still, in the regional news, floods hit Butaleja again. Now the residents and leaders want the government to actually intervene and provide relief assistance for that. And now also concerned as Lake Victoria water turns green in Kalangala. Yes, and proceeding here in the national news still, why we're being told that why safe water access remains elusive, that is in Tororo. Now, according to a 2022 report, it reveals that 94.3% of the people in the sub-region drink contaminated water. That is quite a very huge number. So we're talking about the health condition, and in case they get these health complications, do they have the capability to afford the viable medical services that are needed for them to actually treat themselves? Now, Chegegwa district has the lowest access rate in the region at about 31%, according to the Uganda Water Supply Atlas. The Uganda Water Supply Atlas says that that is in line with water access. So something for the stakeholders to really look into and make the appropriate decision that follows at the end. Now, why irrigation could actually be a game changer for food security in Africa. Yes, so benefits here. We see that vegetables have always been a challenge, especially in the dry season, and the small irrigation schemes have helped to grow crops throughout the year. This is a gentleman from Terego district, and he's actually giving his experience in line with that. And now, of course, from the jobs and career side, somebody here tells you that you can actually start a business without money. How do you do that? Well, a lot of details are there. So when you grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor, you'll get the full details to what really that is going to entail. And of course, now the stories. Now, as we wind this up, we take a look at the sports section. Ankunda is eager to retain Ginger Open Championship. Now, with over 400 players and a 4 million prize pool, the Ginger Open table, that is a tennis champion, promises fierce competition with defending champion, that is Samuel Ankunda, confident of securing his third consecutive title. So that is it from there. And now, as we wind this up, let me take a look at the new vision. Now, government to take over school feeding. Now, details of the grand plan, costs, stakeholder reactions. We are going to be really also taking a look at that. And of course, the new IGPs have been urged to protect the government projects. Yes, and Museveni launches internet infrastructure in Karamoja. Now, there is huge report here for the government to take over feeding in primary schools. Now, schools get staff quarters, textbooks at the same time. Now, the Manifesto Unit and the Manifesto Implementation Unit under the Office of the President scores the education commitments of this political term of 90%. Now, in this manifesto for this term, President Yoweri Museveni listed 30 priority areas under the education sector, from pre-primary education level to higher levels of education. All right. Now, you got to make major advances. This is now in the clinical trials. Uganda's growing ability, that is to conduct clinical trials, which strengthens suitability to attract global pharmaceutical companies looking to invest in medicine, as acquired global recognition. So that is Uganda for us there. New trials, new clinical trials. Now, police chief of Kagaba tasks new IGPs with protecting, that is government projects. Let us see how this is going to be vital, most especially when it comes to embezzlement of funds meant for public development. Now, bureaucrats delaying East African community integration. This is according to Kadaga. Now, the East African community countries are scattered, and activists have actually called for the preservation and public access to these materials. That is to better understand the region's integration history. Yeah, for that. And now, in other news, what is Mpuga planning for 2026? There is a question. There are pointers that Mpuga will actually make a political announcement today at Malibu Gardens in Namirembe. Let's wait and see what is going to transpire there. And Uganda receives FMD vaccine manufacturing equipment. Now the outbreak led to quarantines in over 32 districts. That is country-wide. Now we're talking about the foot and mouth disease, the FMD there. And in other news, why broadcasters want licensing fees trimmed? Yes, Karisa challenged government, that is to constitute budgets for the media. Beautiful. And as we proceed still into other news, we see the European Union, Uganda surgeons partner to be carrying out transplants. Now, project implementation will actually kick off in February 2025. It's just like about 2 months, 1 month actually from now. We only have January to that. Now, between December 2024 and January 2025, there will be an initiation phase with the launch of an awareness campaign that is setting up facilities and scheduling initial surgery. So all that is actually going to be a part of this. And now we take a look at experts that are welcoming agriculture, the agriculture monitoring tool. Yes, so agriculture, these are now investments in agriculture, and it will bridge the farmers to the final buyers, eliminating the middlemen. Of course, that is part of the mission for that. Now, from the Katanga trial, court authorizes access to tagged proceedings. Now, in the last session, Mwata ordered the prosecution to provide the defense team with all evidential material, including raw data and a video network recorder from Digital Forensic Examiner. Yeah, so that is what. And the doctor charged of a bribe. It is alleged that Kadima accepted the money to perform an operation. You can imagine that. Now, when we get into the comment section, sexual offenses probing faith institutions, welcome. Wow, somebody here says, and how people are voting with their feet for the East Africa community. And we see still somebody writes and discusses matters to do with why road safety starts with you. It always starts with you, actually. Road safety before other responsible stakeholders come to take part. What have you done, for that? And now, Best Farmers Startup Association 2024 winners to be announced for that. And the relaxed tax burden on corporate bonds is what experts say to that. Now, Coco said that the current tax system makes issuing corporate bonds expensive due to taxes on their coupons. Now, the amount of interest that is paid on the bond. Now, into other stories, the Pastors Association, actually over 1,200 pastors cry out to President Museveni. Now, the Pastors Association, to ensure that they comply with the laws. What are those laws that are going to be like? Well, grab yourself a copy and find out the further details. Now, from the stolen funds of Bank of Uganda, they say that they were meant actually for debt payments. So the money that was stolen from the Bank of Uganda was actually designed to pay payments, debt payments. Now, I think you got refuted media reports suggesting that the central bank's IT systems were actually hacked. He believes that he came out to really say that he refuted the reports. He says they're not true. Now, from the community side in Jinja, the tempers flare at the Jinja Standard Gauge Rail meeting. Now, the SGR to lower the cost of doing business in the region. Yeah, and from the Rubirizi side, Rubirizi gets 5 irrigation schemes to improve food security. Yeah, now the 5 schemes are actually solar energy to pump water from obstruction points to the reservoir tanks before moving by gravity flow to the gardens there. And still, Museveni donates 50 million for Koboko Mosque construction. And Mubaje, a Bank of Uganda, Deputy Governor, meet over Islamic banking. Very interesting. And from the international side, Israel dismisses Amnesty accusation of Gaza genocide. Now, Amnesty described the report as a wake-up call. A Palestinian group, actually, Hamas, launched an attack on Israel That is on 7th October 2023, triggering a deadly Israel offensive on Gaza. Now, another question. In South Korea, recently, the current president issued what we call a martial law. And the public wasn't happy, and there has been a call for the impeachment of the president of South Korea. Now, what is going to happen in South Korea after the martial law? Even if President Yoon Suk-yeol has gone to ground since the early hours of Wednesday, he's trying to avoid impeachment for the next 63, he's trying to avoid impeachment. Now, the 63-year-old could actually still face legal problems, as we see that police are investigating him for insurrection and crime, which is actually not covered by presidential immunity and can carry the death penalty. That is for the South Korean president. This is what we call democracy. Now, how China's BRI drives global development. Now, during the first session of the 19th G20 Leaders Summit that was held in November, that is 18th, Jinping prioritized pursuing high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. Yes. And I guess we come to the end of the press review for now. Exactly just about 26 minutes to the top of the hour. That is of 8 a.m. Let's go for the break, and I'm returning with the Karibu East Africa and international updates.